Today we are sewing the Key Fobs Hardware pattern, a practical giftable accessory that's quick to make and perfect for using small pieces of non-woven fabric or even woven webbing. This key fob project is simple and solves a real problem. A sturdy wrist strap keeps your keys easy to find and carry. This project is the perfect handmade item you actually use every single day. I'm Kate, and welcome to the Sallie Tomato YouTube channel. We're here to help you build your sewing skills with stylish, approachable projects. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a tutorial, and let's create confidently together. The Key Fobs Hardware pattern was designed by Jessica Barrera, founder and CEO of Sallie Tomato, as an easy-to-sew accessory that feels polished and professional. The finished size of the project is 1 inch wide by 6 inches long, or you can customize the length to suit your preference. Features of this project include easy-to-sew construction, easy-to-install hardware options, scrap-friendly design, and professional hardware finishes. When making this key fob project, you can choose between using a 1-inch key fob and a 1-inch screw-in key fob available in all the Sallie Tomato finishes. Choose your finish based on the look you're going for, but keep it consistent with your other bag hardware if you want it to coordinate with your on-the-go style. This pattern is ideal for non-woven fabrics such as cork fabric, faux leather, microsuede, as well as 1-inch wide woven webbing. Since the edges are left raw, non-woven materials give you a clean finish without fraying or bulk. Before we begin, be sure to download the Key Fob Hardware pattern using the link in the description below. The cutting measurements and hardware instructions are included so you can prep everything before you sew. Once your fabric is cut, your hardware selected, and your tools ready, we'll walk step by step through stitching the strap and installing the hardware for a secure, professional finish. Let's get started. The 1-inch key fob hardware includes a clamping piece with an attached split ring. You'll notice along the back at the interior of the key fob are prongs. Those are going to help hold your fabric in place. Now looking at the screw-in key fob hardware, these feature a shaped slot for inserting your preferred fabric. The pair of screws secure the fabric in place. The attached split ring is substantial and sturdy. Both styles of hardware come in 5 different finishes, which perfectly match all the other Sallie Tomato hardware in nickel, gold, antique, gunmetal, and rose gold. Let's do a quick review also of the fabrics and a few supplies that you'll find handy. You can certainly use cork, faux leather, or microsuede fabric, or even leftover pieces of woven webbing. Another option is to have a little bit of fusible interfacing on hand. This will help stabilize a fabric that might be lighter weight. You'll also find a pair of pliers handy for clamping the key fob hardware, along with a scrap of batting, especially if you don't have pliers with rubber-coated ends. For the screw-in key fob hardware, you'll want to have a small Phillips screwdriver. And then another option would be to have a little permanent craft glue or hot glue on hand. If you've selected a woven webbing, you can skip this next step, and this step is optional. Fuse the interfacing piece B to the wrong side of your main fabric, piece 8. This is going to be your key fob. When fusing the interfacing, position your small, narrow strip of interfacing about 1/8 inch from one long edge, making sure that when you fold the strip of fabric, the piece A, in half, that no interfacing peeks out. This will help stabilize your piece A, but stay completely hidden. If the main fabric is very heat sensitive, try using basting tape to hold the interfacing in place. Fold piece A in half, wrong sides together, and aligning the raw long edges and the short raw edges. Use sewing clips to hold the edges together, or simply align the edges as you sew. Now at the sewing machine, we're going to top stitch an 1/8 inch from the aligned raw edge as well as the long fold edge. If your key fob strap is longer, you may find it very helpful to begin stitching at the same end as your first row of stitching. That way you reduce the amount of twist that can occur in a long strap. If you find for your key fob strap, that would be the piece A, when you fold the piece in half, you have one fold edge, and then you have the two raw edges. If you don't care for that raw edge finish, you can certainly draw a line down the center of your piece and then add basting tape. And I'm using very narrow basting tape, which works perfectly for this step. Right along the long cut edge, remove the paper backing from the tape, and then simply fold the long raw edge to your marked center line. The basting tape holds it in place so you can top stitch much more easily. Now at the sewing machine, we'll top stitch an 1/8 inch from each long edge that's now at the center, and both outer edges will be beautiful folds. And again, I'm starting on the same end that I began the first row of stitching. Fold your piece A, that's your key fob strap, in half, meeting the short ends, and then at the sewing machine, baste those ends together with an 1/8 inch seam allowance. The stitching doesn't have to look perfect. It's going to be covered by the key fob hardware. Just hold those ends together. Right here I have my 3 examples of a lightweight fabric, and then our little bit heavier, thicker fabric. And then I also have cotton webbing sample. I have not basted the end just because I want to show you another technique once we start creating our key fobs with the hardware. So I'm going to set one finished strap aside and we'll show you the clamp style key fob hardware. Here again, you can see the 2 prongs that are going to help hold our fabric strap. Before I insert the fabric, I'm going to add just a little hot glue, or you could use permanent glue, whichever you're more comfortable with. Then slide the key fob strap in between, and you want the edge of the fabric to go all the way to the back, into this back fold. And I'm using a screwdriver to help fit that strap into that fold of the hardware. Make sure you get the fabric underneath those prongs. Here I have a pliers that has just bare metal, so I always use a scrap of foam or batting covering both sides of the hardware, protecting the hardware from the raw pliers jaws. And squeeze gently. You may find you need to go to the other side, and again squeeze gently, protecting that hardware. Now I'm going to show you a trick for a lightweight fabric, such as this cotton webbing. Just as an example, you can kind of see how thin these two layers are in comparison to the fold end of the clamp of this key fob. So if you think your layers are much too thin, simply fold under about a ½ inch. You could certainly use basting tape or even hot glue to help hold these folds in place. And make sure those end folds are going to be on the inner edge of your webbing ends or fabric ends if you're using fabric instead. These two folded ends are now my wrong sides. We'll put wrong sides together so those little raw edges are encased. And then again, this is going to fit just fine. I didn't even add any glue on this one. Add our foam. Give it a little test with a pull. All right, now I'd like to show you the screw-in Key Fob hardware. I have one strap already basted, and then this is slightly thinner, so I'm going to show you another technique with that one. So let's put this aside and one of the key fobs aside. First, you'll want to unscrew these tiny little screws. However, they are so small, they can scoot onto the floor in the blink of an eye. So I like to add just a little roll of tape. And then once I have the screws unscrewed, and you can use this for any hardware that has small attachments or small screws, just stick the screw to the tape, and it at least keeps it from rolling onto the floor. With the ends of your strap aligned, pick a pretty side. Make sure that side is facing up, and this is going to be a nice snug fit with a heavier faux leather fabric. Again, if you find it helpful to use either a stiletto or a skinny little screwdriver to help stuff. This is such a tight fit, I didn't even use any glue, but you certainly can add a little extra glue if you want. And I'm poking between the layers so I don't damage the outside surface of the fabric. You can add a tiny bit of glue at each screw hole or on the tip of the screw if you'd like, to help secure those screws in place, and then simply install each screw. The screws are going to go right through the fabric, securing the key fob strap. Now I'd like to show you installing a lighter weight strap. Have my tape handy to take care of the little screws that I'll be removing, and here I have the lighter weight strap. I'd like to show you a little trick for that, adding a little piece of batting. So if you have a little scrap of batting, let's remove these screws. And you can always test fit each strap to the hardware first. You can see there's just a tiny bit of space. So I'm going to put just a tiny little shape of batting in between, and I'm just going to use a bit of hot glue to hold that in place. Again, you could certainly use basting tape. Make sure that little piece of fleece is smaller than the width of your strap. And we'll glue the opposite end of the strap to the batting. The batting is now in between the layers, and it's just a tiny bit of added thickness that helps this narrower strap fit nicely into the screw-in Key Fob hardware. And simply install your screws. That's it. The Key Fob and hardware project is simple, practical, giftable, and endlessly customizable. We'd love to see your version. Share your project using #SallieTomato so we can celebrate your creativity. If this tutorial inspired you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on our next project. Thanks for sewing with us, and keep creating confidently.